Hello everyone, and welcome to our next episode where we are continuing the theme of angelic intercessions. It is truly remarkable how many people have had real contact with angels in their lives. Reading these stories always gives me a boost of hope and faith that God is with us and around us all the time. We may go through some personal turmoil in our lives, but when we turn our attention to God and His love, we can be assured that He will guide us through whatever hardships come our way. Today, I'm sharing 3 stories with you, but before we start, here's a quick reminder to subscribe to our channel and like this video if you enjoy hearing this content. Thanks. Our first story is by a woman who at the age of 18 could not wait to experience Hurricane Ivan that was bearing down on her island of Grenada. She got more than she bargained for. Here's what she wrote. When the clouds became dark and nature decided to release her fury, I was safely in my room, staring through the window at what I thought would be the best entertainment ever. At age 18, I had yet to see with my own eyes the glory that was a hurricane, and I thrived for the day when I too could join the ranks of my family who lived through one. Naivety should be a crime. My eyes were glued to the constant darkening of the world outside. It was a picture of pure chaos, like a painting that a frustrated artist had flung away out of rage. The wind took whatever it could lift and flung it around like a rag doll being chewed up by a dog. The rain soaked everything in sight, drenching everything into nothing but muddy slop. As I looked on, my young heart was beating fast in anticipation, eager to see what would come next. I pressed my nose closer against the cold window pane, inhaling slowly and deeply, mesmerized by the cruel beauty that lay before me. Suddenly, my arm felt something warm grab it and quickly yank me backwards. Stumbling, I fell down and my bottom landed roughly on the floor. Very annoyed, I looked around ready to curse off whoever was responsible for my rough tumble. But within those couple seconds, 3 things happened that I will never forget. First, there was no one there. Whoever had grabbed me was gone. Second, the roof of my house was starting to come off its hinges and was banging mercilessly up and down against the supporting walls, ready to fly off at any moment. And third, where I had stood before, now had a huge cement block standing in my place. Had I been there at the time, I would have been killed. I had enough amazement for one day, so quickly ran to the hall closet and hunkered down until things settled down a little. After the worst of the hurricane passed, I went out to survey the damage. Thankfully, we didn't lose the roof, but we did sustain considerable damage to the rest of the home and surrounding area. Although the experience was exciting, this is something I never want to be part of again. And was that an angel who saved me? I didn't imagine something pulling me backwards, and I definitely didn't fall on my own. I guess the only thing I can say is, thanks to my guardian angel, death by cement block wasn't to be my fate that day. Our second story comes from a man in Bangalore, India, who, at the age of 7, forgot his way back home until a heavenly visitor came to remind him. Here's his story. This is an event that happened when I was about 7 years old in India. I had been to a relative's house that was in Kerala. There was a village pond that everyone used to go to for hanging out or have a good swim. As a young lad, I was fascinated with swimming, so I would just hang out there with my legs in the water sometimes. I didn't know how to swim and never learned. On my first day in the holiday, one of my cousins had told me that it is not safe in the area around the pond once it gets dark, as the place was infested with snakes. He had given me clear instructions in broken English that he calls the path that leads to our house the White Road, as only that path has some white soil on it. One day I went to the pond as I heard that my cousin was there. On reaching there, I found that he was already returning home. I told him that I want to spend a few moments in the pond alone. He agreed and left me there. After I had watched the sunset, I planned on returning home, but as I turned around to start home, I forgot the road that I had to take. All the paths that led to the pond were similar to look at. I kept trying to remember what he had said about the path that leads home, but nothing came to my mind. Almost an hour rolled by, but I was still standing there. Then something came to my mind. It was not about the road. It was the snakes that would begin to creep out once it got dark. I heard noises from the surrounding bushes. Frightened beyond words, I was about to cry. But suddenly, I was approached by a girl who was dressed in bright white clothes. She asked me what was wrong, and I explained I couldn't remember which road to take home. She said, "Just follow the white road." It dawned on me that this was the path my cousin told me about, so I rushed to it. I also did not forget to thank her as I turned around the corner. I later realized that only my cousin and I knew about the word white road. I believe she was an angel. Someone may have come looking for me once they noticed I was missing, but I thank the angel for guiding me safely back home. Our last story is from a recording artist who believes Archangel Raphael inspired her first album. Here's what she wrote. I just read on this site that Archangel Raphael gives inspiration for the study of music and that he inspired Handel's extraordinary musical composition, Messiah. I have to tell my story because I know with all my heart that Raphael gave me inspiration for my first album too, and my experience may heal someone else. First, I am totally aware that we must pray to the Lord, and angels are in our path to assist us in our day-to-day life when we choose to let them. I've been writing music since I was a little girl. When I was inspired to compose my first inspirational album, Life the Be Inspired Project, I was going through some tough times. I had no money, no funding, only a vision. Even when I thought I would not finish, suddenly people came out of nowhere to bless, support, and help me because my passion and my determination inspired them. The project was completed in 2009. People who purchased the album began to tell me that there was a spiritual presence on the album cover. Now, being my first album, the cover is very simple, nothing to scream about, but I do listen to what others have to say. I told my aunt, who has a strong connection with angels and is a spiritual confidant to me, that others expressed that they felt a spiritual presence on the cover. With no thought, I just asked, "Auntie, please tell me the name of the angel who is with me on the album cover, but don't tell me right now." About a month went by, and honestly, I totally forgot about it. I called her one day and she said, "Raphael, look it up." I was not thinking or connecting it to my prior request. I thought she was maybe suggesting that name to someone expecting a child. I actually thought that the name was a bit old-fashioned. I began Googling the name, and the words healing and archangel kept appearing. I immediately felt some indescribable spiritual connection. I became intrigued to read more about this archangel of healing. I was so excited about the meaning of that name, I called my aunt back the same day. I told her that the name Raphael means God has healed. But the best thing of all is Raphael is an archangel. I could sense the excitement in her voice. Then she said with no hesitation, "That's the angel who is with you on the album cover." My heart just jumped. I forgot that I asked her to tell me. She said that she was sitting in her living room one day and heard the name Raphael in her ear. She reached over and picked up my album, and the Lord revealed to her that he was the angel who was helping me throughout the project. Until then, she did not even know Raphael was an archangel or anything about him. I was in awe because when I designed the cover, I was led to write the phrase, "Healing Hurting Hearts," at the bottom of the cover, which was all the confirmation I needed to know that Archangel Raphael indeed assisted in the lyrics, music, and engineering of my first album. I've always welcomed angels to help me and surround me, but never knew about Raphael, but I definitely know now. All the songs, lyrics, messages in this album convey what this healing angel is all about, which is inspiration, living life to the fullest, self-healing and improvement, and more. People say, "Ro, that album is so healing." They have no idea. Live, love, laugh, and learn. Miss Ro Perry. I hope these stories were inspiring and made your day a little brighter. If you like this content, please consider subscribing, commenting, and liking this video. Doing so will help get these stories recommended to more people on YouTube. Thank you.